Have you ever locked eyes with a stranger and felt your entire world shift in an instant? That one fleeting moment, that split-second connection, where something inside you whispers, this person is going to change everything? Well, that's exactly what happened to Emma on an ordinary Tuesday morning at the train station. Except she had no idea the man standing across from her, the one with a piercing gaze and an air of quiet mystery, wasn't just another commuter. He was Alexander Carter, the missing heir to the most powerful empire in the country, a man whose name alone could move mountains. And yet, there he was, blending into the crowd like a ghost from a past no one was supposed to remember. Now, I know what you're thinking. Asterisk, this sounds like some fairy tale meet cute, right? Asterisk, but trust me, what unfolded between them was anything but a simple love story. Because here's the thing about fate. It doesn't just hand you a fairy tale. It tests you. It throws you into a whirlwind of secrets, lies, and choices that could either destroy you or make you stronger than you ever imagined. And Emma? She was about to learn that lesson the hard way. So, if you've ever wondered what it would be like to stumble into a world of wealth, power, and dangerous secrets, if you've ever dreamed of a love so intense it feels like walking on the edge of a knife, then you need to keep watching. Because by the end of this story, you'll get answers to the questions that keep you hooked. Asterisk, who is Alexander Carter really? Why was he hiding in plain sight? And what happens when an ordinary woman gets pulled into the games of the elite? Asterisk. But let me warn you, this isn't just a story about love. It's about survival. It's about the masks people wear and the truths they bury. And most importantly, it's about what happens when those masks finally slip. And the real game begins. So tell me, are you ready to step into Emma's world? Because once you do, there's no going back. Asterisk, pause for dramatic effect. Black screen or intense music cue. Asterisk. Emma stood frozen in front of the old train depot, the key clutched so tightly in her hand it left marks on her palm. The building loomed ahead like something out of a nightmare. Rusted metal, broken windows, and an eerie silence that made her skin prickle. Every instinct screamed at her to turn back, but the memory of Alexander's piercing gaze pushed her forward. She slid the key into the lock, the click echoing like a gunshot in the empty night. Inside, the air was thick with dust and the scent of damp wood, the only light coming from flickering street lamps filtering through cracked glass. Then she saw it, a single envelope resting on an overturned crate, her name scrawled across it in bold, unfamiliar handwriting. Her fingers trembled as she tore it open, revealing a single sentence. Asterisk, you were never supposed to meet him. Asterisk. Before she could process the words, a shadow moved in the corner of the room. Emma's breath hitched as a figure stepped into the dim light. Not Alexander, but a woman with cold, calculating eyes and a smile that didn't reach them. You're braver than I expected, the woman said, her voice dripping with false sweetness. But bravery won't save you now. Emma stumbled back, her mind racing. Who was this woman? How did she know about Alexander? The answers came too fast, too brutal. The woman's name was Lillian Graves, and she wasn't just an enemy of the Carter family. She was Alexander's ex-fiancée, the one who had been cast aside when he disappeared. And now, she wanted revenge. Not just on Alexander, but on anyone who got in her way. Including Emma. Across town, Alexander paced his penthouse, his phone buzzing with frantic messages from his security team. They'd lost track of Emma the moment she left her apartment. He should have known Lillian would make her move soon. She'd been waiting for years, biding her time, and now she had the perfect pawn. His fists clenched. This wasn't just about him anymore. Emma was in danger because of his past, because of the lies he'd let fester. But what Lillian didn't know was that Emma wasn't just some helpless stranger. She had a secret of her own, one even Alexander hadn't uncovered yet. Back at the depot, Lillian circled Emma like a predator, taunting her with half-truths and twisted stories about Alexander's past. He's not who you think he is, she whispered. He's a liar, a manipulator. And when he's done using you, he'll throw you away just like he did to me. Emma's mind reeled. Was any of it true? Had Alexander been playing her this whole time? But then she remembered the way he'd looked at her, the raw, unguarded emotion in his eyes when he thought no one was watching. That couldn't be faked, could it? Just as Lillian reached into her coat, pulling out something small and metallic, the door burst open. Alexander stood there, his face a mask of fury, his men flanking him. But it was too late. Lillian's smile turned venomous as she pressed a button on the device in her hand. Game over, she said, and the world exploded into chaos. The explosion sent a shockwave through the depot, debris flying as Emma hit the ground hard, her ears ringing. Smoke filled the air, choking her as she tried to crawl toward the shattered doorway, only to feel a hand clamp around her wrist. Lillian's grip was iron, her voice a venomous whisper in Emma's ear. "You should have walked away when you had the chance." But before she could drag Emma deeper into the wreckage, a figure lunged through the smoke. Alexander. His face was streaked with ash, his eyes wild with desperation as he tackled Lillian to the ground. The two struggled, a tangle of fury and betrayal, until a gunshot cracked through the chaos. Emma screamed, but it wasn't Alexander who fell. It was Lillian, her shoulder bleeding as security swarmed in. Alexander didn't hesitate. He grabbed Emma's hand and pulled her into the night, his car screeching to a halt just outside. "We have to go. Now." As they sped through the city, Emma's mind raced. None of this made sense. Why had Lillian been so obsessed with destroying Alexander? And why had he risked everything to save her? The answer came when Alexander finally spoke, his voice raw. "Lillian wasn't just my ex. She was working with my brother." Emma's breath caught. His brother? Alexander's jaw tightened as he explained. The Carter Empire wasn't just about wealth. It was built on secrets, and his older brother Daniel had been embezzling for years. When Alexander discovered it, Daniel framed him, forcing him into hiding. Lillian had been in on it from the start, using their past relationship to keep tabs on him. But what Daniel didn't know was that Alexander had evidence. And now, thanks to Emma, he had a way to expose everything. The final piece of the puzzle clicked into place when Emma reached into her pocket and pulled out the flash drive she'd found taped inside the depot's envelope, the one Lillian had missed in her arrogance. On it was proof of Daniel's crimes, enough to bring down his entire operation. Alexander stared at her, stunned. "How did you?" Emma's lips curved into a shaky smile. "Because I'm not just some stranger you met at a train station." She'd been investigating the Carters for months, digging into their shady dealings for a journalism piece. She'd chosen that platform, that moment, hoping to get close to him. But she never expected to fall for him in the process. The climax came at dawn, in the heart of Carter Tower. With Emma's evidence and Alexander's testimony, Daniel's empire crumbled in a single press conference. Cameras flashed, reporters shouted, but all Alexander cared about was the woman standing beside him, the one who'd turned his world upside down. In the end, it wasn't money or power that saved him. It was her. But the real twist? As they walked away, Emma slipped a second flash drive into his hand, one with a file labeled Project Phoenix. Alexander's blood ran cold. Because if that file was real, it meant this wasn't over. And the next game was already beginning.